Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Casual Master Quest. I'm here. I'm your host, Booyah, Glenn Houston, with my two lovely, wonderful co-hosts, Nick and Tyler.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you guys today?
Oh, I'm just Jack Skelletoning it over here a little bit. Just trying to make Christmas out of middle of July. Not really Halloween, but
they did make a movie out of that. So I mean, it's a sound concept, I think.
You know, Tim Burton did a amazing job with that movie. But honestly, it's like, I feel like if it wasn't for the fact that Halloween even international, if you will, of a holiday? Isn't it like restricted mostly to the States?
It's not even a holiday.
It's Hallows Eve is all it is. It's just like, it's like I think it's technically based on like a quote unquote pagan Wiccan. It's like it's a solstice thing that we just decided it's the day when the spirit world is said to be the closest with the physical world. And so we decided to celebrate All Hallows Eve Halloween.
And that's where you get 50% off on all packs made with patrons, because the deal is so smooth to make during that day. So, Nick, you say it's not even a holiday. Are you just saying in general or over in Canada?
Is it a statutory holiday in the States? Do you get the day off? So it's not a holiday.
I mean, it's not a federal holiday, but
yeah.
I mean, my work company just sent me an announcement saying that they no longer observe every holiday. So, I mean, I'd like to give a little bit more credit than that at that point. And there's a lot of schools that go as far as like taking like September 15th off or whatever it was for deer hunting.
What?
And it's like we don't call. Yeah, have you not heard of that?
Is that when deer season starts?
Someday in September, where a lot of schools, like, they get so many sick calls pretty much because kids are going with parents to go hunt deer, that they say screw it, they make it a holiday that day, they take the whole damn day off.
I do know that too, because my mom's a teacher as well, that they get an allotted amount of days per year, and so the school board can just, instead of taking Columbus Day off or something, some random, day that doesn't really deserve a full day off of school, they just do something like that, which totally makes sense. And deer are superbly overpopulated in most places in the United States, so that's actually kind of good.
Yes, it is, because my oh my, was it a sight to see up here in northern Michigan, especially during breeding season, which to this day, it's been a constant, actually almost a meme between me and Nick here, Nick and I, because I can English, where we constantly look up when's the gestation periods of when deer give birth. And I always forget if it's in the late fall or late spring, but it gets rough. It gets rough.
When all those phones are out.
Yes.
Speaking of your home, what have you been up to in like real life, outside of video game worlds, outside of Dungeons and Dragons? How has Christmas in July and the surrounding events been for you recently, Tyler?
It's funny you should say that, Glenn. Honestly, these past few weeks have been pretty rough on the mental health with everything that's been going on, and it just feels like between life and work and all that, I've keep getting brought down in the mood section. And out of sheer desperation, we joked about it last weekend about on the podcast, I believe, about the idea of just saying, "Fuck it, we need a second Christmas. Let's do a second Christmas." Well, sure as shit, that actually happened. I'm currently celebrating Christmas today, trying to get merry, enjoy my time with friends, and doing a great job because I'm with you and Nick right now.
Woohoo!
We are super merry and. Honestly, with everybody at each other's throats and trying to bring each other down with all the shit that's been going down, it's been rough, man. So hopefully with a couple of presents and me attempting, probably not going to make eggnog if we're going to be real, because I was joking about it with the coworker. He's like, well, you probably can't buy eggnog, but you probably can make it. And like, I could. I don't dude, I burn cereal. Like, I don't think I should be entrusted to make eggnog. Like, what makes eggnog? Is it heavy cream, egg, maybe vanilla extract, and
a little whiskey?
I'm gonna say a shit ton of some kind of alcohol to cover up the fact that I added way too much egg. There was a time that I decided to make a an egg custard, glazed over with a nice sweet sugar caramel, and I know it's caramel, but I like to say caramel. And cherry laden with cherry laden over the top. It was exquisite. Like, imagine, for me, in my head, it was like cheesecake, essentially, but, an egg custard's a bit more, fluffier, softer, very nice in the, to eat. Whereas, cream cheese is a bit more rich, if you will, with how, thick it is. And, when I made this was back in like 2010, 2011, I decided that I was going to do it, reading this guide, and discovered that there is, in fact, a difference between getting medium-sized eggs and large eggs. And so what I did essentially was add like 2-3 extra eggs because of the sheer size. And so when I bit into this beautiful looking, like it looked wonderful, Glenn. When I bit into this egg custard with cherries on top, and it turned out that I had a cherry-covered, glorified omelet, I was devastated. It tasted so much like eggs, it was heartbreaking. And so the idea that I'm supposed to be in charge of making eggnog is that's a no from me, dog. But yeah, been celebrating Christmas nowadays. Just trying to enjoy the day, spending some time with Nick. In the chat specifically, because him and I didn't get to have our Christmas time together, so we didn't get to.
Nick in the chat is now Nick in your house.
Yes, that is correct. Nick really in the house. Yeah, he got an upgrade on the rank. You better watch out, Nick in the stream. You're gonna get challenged soon. You have to give up your gym badge.
Yeah,
that's why people call me LR.
Because. Wait, did I miss the secret as to why you're called LR just now?
No, just I meant as a joke, as like there's no name clash.
Got it. Okay.
I got scared for a horrible second because I'm like, we don't talk about that. But enough about me, Glenn. Much as I'd like to say it's Christmas right now and all that stuff, it's still the middle of summer. What's going on, dude? What's happening on your summer?
Well, it's finally getting hot. Because I had been in the living room with the AC on all morning, with relaxing with the wife, trying out a new update for a certain game, and it was nice and cool. And I was like, all right, I'll go in there and get set down because we come in a little early. And it was 90 degrees in my bedroom, so I had to shut it off.
Holy shit!
Yeah. And it's warmer than that outside.
Slow cook a steak with that.
Yeah. So it's been getting warm. It's finally hot, which is fine because me and the wife just recently, one of our neighbors who we're good friends with, she has been saving for a long time and finally found an opportunity to become a homeowner. And the place that she bought, which I think she's in escrow right now, but all but moved in. Before she bought it, they renovated it. So instead of being a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on one side and a 1-bedroom, 1-bath on another side. So there's a separate unit with a different entrance. They even got it cleared with the city, so it's got its own address, number, and everything. But the beauty is that it has basically an overflow central AC system. Nice. And so we're going to have actual central AC. We have new appliances. We'll have our own washer and dryer in unit, which sounds like not a big deal, but it is a big deal because I've never had that living in LA.
It is, yeah.
We've had to go to the laundromat, especially during COVID, is a wary time. So here in about a month and a half or so, I think we're planning on being out. Depending on how things go, it could be as early as mid-July, but could be as late as like early September. So also, we may be getting a dog in the new place. So
oh shit,
yeah,
no shit. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so it's a little smaller. We're losing a little square footage, but it's still going to accommodate us just nicely. And we'll have our own place.
I didn't see you as much of a dog person.
What?
I didn't see you as much of a dog person. Like, honestly, I thought you were more like a cat person. But
I'm a huge dog person.
Oh, you like big dogs, or you mean you're a huge fan of all dogs?
Both. I grew up we had German Shepherds when I was a young person growing up. And so I had a Shepherd that I had to leave back home with my parents, partially because I just wanted to have more space to run, and be open and air, and free and have space. But also I wasn't sure of how my final but I wasn't sure about how my financial situation would be here, what kind of living situation I would have. I didn't want to stuff her in a small apartment with, and maybe she gets sick and I can't take her to the vet because I don't have the money. My parents had the money. They had just gotten another dog. So multiple dogs in one place is always good because they have company when the humans aren't around. But this place, our now new landlord has a wonderful pit bull named Petey. So he will be whatever dog we get's friend. And they have a backyard. We've got parking. It's not on a major road. So on top of not having to worry about traffic sounds for streaming purposes, I will also have central AC that does not blast my microphone. So it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I'm very excited about it.
First off, I want to say that the idea of getting a home when you live in Los Angeles or San Francisco is, especially right now with the trying times of COVID-19, almost seems like a pipe dream. So the fact that they're able to do that in the first place is mind-boggling.
Well, the market has gone down significantly because a lot of people are being kicked out of these places, and the people that own them are kind of she even told us, she's like, I feel really bad getting a house right now. Part of it is that her family was willing to help her. So it's not like she had all the money, and she still has the 10 by 20 year mortgage or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know she hasn't she didn't just buy it outright. But it was a good chance to get
that
in.
That is true. The fact that foreclosure is probably on the underbelly of this otherwise very nice story is kind of a bit dark, if you will. But
the good thing is this place it's been renovated for, I think they said it took them almost a year to get it completely transitioned. So it was being worked on long before COVID happened. So this is not a casualty per se of that market downfall or whatever. But at least there's that. But other than that, me and Sarah have been enjoying some good new shows and movies on Netflix. One that really surprised me was Eurovision, which is a Will Ferrell, Rachel McAdams movie about an Icelandic music pair who goes to the Eurovision Song Contest. And I was pleasantly surprised by it, mostly by the music, honestly. But then also another one in that vein, Hamilton. They had recorded a live performance of the Broadway version of Hamilton with the original cast in 2016 and had planned on releasing it, and they released it today on Disney Plus, and we watched it, and I cried a lot, and it was great. But then also, there is a show called Unsolved Mysteries, which sounds a little on the nose, but the cool thing is that the mysteries are actually unsolved. Some of them are still open cases, and they're using the platform of Netflix to try and make people aware of this so they can help solve the cases. So there's a website where if you know anything about the case, you can reach out and try and help them.
Pretty wild, actually. If not, I'm not going to say that's dark. I mean, it's still dark technically, but the idea that we're moving from the ye old mid 90s idea of throwing a face on the side of a carton of milk to being able to use a mass multimedia industry to do something like that.
Right. I think it's a wonderful use of the platform. It's really, I think
yes, it is.
On top of the fact that it's really well done, they do a great job of presenting it in an interesting way. Because I think as sad as it is, if it didn't capture people's attention, they wouldn't care as much. But that's not really a worry because it's done very well, and hopefully it will help bring some light to some of these things. I just hope trolls don't go, oh yeah, no, I know about this, and then go give them false leads and stuff like this, but I'm sure they have.
It does stink that if it wasn't for the production value, people probably wouldn't give it nearly as much attention as it deserves, but at the same time, it's cool that people have enough time and effort to produce something like that where it's going to be both entertaining for people to watch, but also cast a net out to, the country and I guess to some extent, internationally, trying to find some of these cases that just never been cracked.
One of them is literally a case that was not solved by Interpol. So,
jeez.
And it's, in a lot of cases, it's a search for a person or something like that, whether or not they are a potential guilty party or a person that has gone missing or something like that. I don't know, man. It's really cool. But enough about me. Nick, how are you, buddy?
That's
I'm
right.
doing all right.
Thank God.
I'm doing all right. It's been a slow week. No jobs. but yeah,
Okay.
nothing really.
Any
nothing really happening.
nibbles at all?
No, not at all.
No, that's fair.
Everything's kind of slow. Yeah.
Have you ever gone fishing before, Nick?
Nope.
Oh,
It's okay.
Like I actually
that-
haven't.
like, have you ever been interested in doing something like that? Or is just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you see it, not for me, kind of thing.
What do? You just sit around for a couple of hours, stick in the water, drink some beers,
It's
be
like,
in nature.
for somebody
bugs.
if you're uninitiated to like the concept of like doing physical fishing, it is almost bizarre. Like, if you're a person who's like, I need to be doing something right now, and you just sit there like, you're supposed to wait until that bobber starts moving, and it's like, oh.
I mean, in
is-
theory, fishing sounds like my thing, but then what am I like? I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. I don't want to be in nature. Like everything except like the surroundings of fishing sounds like a good time. Like
Well, a lot
I
of people
wouldn't mind
use it
just
for
sitting
that,
there
like-
for a few hours listening to music and just like drinking whatever and just hanging out. But then I don't want to be surrounded by bugs. Even like give that opportunity to be surrounded by
True.
bugs. And also I don't eat fish, so I'd be catching the fish for no reason. I know I could just catch them and release them, but that just seems cruel.
It's actually not that bad on them, honestly. And I will say this just because I have a lot of family members who are very into fishing. On top of the fact that there are specific regulations when you get your license about certain times, certain fish you can't catch, and if you do, you have to release. And certain fish, if they're not above a certain size, you have to release them so that they can really, reach maturity and
Grow,
repopulate. Yeah. So, like, honestly, yes, it is a little painful for them to have the hook in their lip, but if you're able to get it out and everything, or cut it out or whatever, that skin there is so malleable and flexible. Sometimes they will tear it and mess it up just eating food. So like,
Okay.
it's like biting your cheek, like, except it's a lot thinner. It's a very thin membrane, so it catches on the heavy bones through that thin skin. So more often than not,
Right.
unless they swallowed it super far, which is a pain in the butt to
Right.
get out. But
Oh,
yeah, I only
like
ate
pliers.
one fish that I ever caught, and I had fished. Before the age of 16, I fished a lot with my grandfather. But I always hated touching the fish, unless it was a bass. Catfish freak me out because they got a spine on their back that they can poke you with and stuff. No, I'm right there with you,
There's
Nick.
two-
Not my game.
Really, like, I mean, there's casual fishing, mind you, which is probably what I got to do a lot as a kid or whatnot. But it seems like nowadays it's basically either you're fishing for the sake of like hunting sport, if you will. It's like, because when you catch a fish and you're hunting it, you expect the fish to die because you're planning on throwing it on the grill. Maybe not die right there, obviously. You wait until you want to chop the head off and clean it up afterwards.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that like to fish for the sport of it. Well, it's like, I want to catch the biggest fish just to, brag about it and put it on my Instagram or something because I'm a tool. But I guess like, I'm trying to remember one of the first times I fished, like Nick brought up that he didn't want to be surrounded by bugs. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. I was fishing with my dad, and there was a bee that came nearby, and I screeched. Now, you got to understand, like 6-year-old kids, their voices aren't very deep at all. So when you hear like a 6-year-old boy, scream, it's that shrill whistle sound that came out of me. And I still remember to this day, my dad says, if you're going to scream, you better scream like a man. And so I just remember whenever I see a bee, I go, ah. Just the idea that that's what I have to do because, God forbid, I didn't get hit with puberty for another 8 years.
I know,
But, whatever.
Have you been riding your bike more though, Nick, or anything of kind of note, like just outside of video gaming?
It should be about like 90 degrees right now, but it's still around 60.
Oh,
But
wow.
for the last 3 weeks, it's been raining. When it
I'm
shouldn't
fucking
have been
jealous.
raining.
That's nice.
So I haven't been able to take out my bike. Like really, nothing's going on.
Huh. Well, did you? I
Um,
remember a while back too. You said you were probably going to be in the possible process of moving. Is that still happening, or?
No, that was if I couldn't find a roommate in time, but I did. But
Okay.
I think I want to live alone now anyways. That's gonna happen when I can actually work and save up and afford a place on my own. So, like, even with the fishing thing, like, I looked briefly at the licenses a few years ago and, like, the equipment and stuff. Like, I don't have the free money floating around to do that. Same thing with snowboarding. I've lived here for, like, 6 years. I can't go snowboarding because equipment rentals are expensive. Like, it would cost me about $200 to $300 just to rent out all the necessary equipment to go snowboarding, plus also the ski pass. Or so there's just a lot that I can't do yet until I start working.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, nothing else has happened this week.
That's cool. Well, let's talk about video games, because we are a video game podcast.
Hell yeah!
I think Nick.
Even though nice video games that can deep
let's pull a Magic the Gathering thing here. I know this is a common thing in some board games, but you start. Whoever starts, you go to the end, and then that person gets to go again, and then you go backwards. So Nick, since you were the last to share about your real life, why don't you give us a little insight into what you've been playing this week?
Sure. I picked up a few games from the Steam Summer Sale. 3 games specifically. 2 of them I got to play. Assassin's Creed Origins, which I talked a little bit about last week. Didn't really make too much progress from how much I think I've now got. No, actually, I think compared to when I talked about it, I have like 16 hours in it now.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna pull it up here. 18 hours. It's okay.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Like, it's a big game. It's a bigger game than I was expecting, and there's just a few things that bother me, like some of the animation, some of the textures just doesn't seem complete, which is honestly par for the course for Ubisoft. Like, some of the animations are weird.
Weird, how so?
They're just not complete. They feel very stiff. They just don't look like it was in beta.
It's
like
lacking
unrefined
fluid animation or something?
Yeah, pretty much. And then it's just, I think, because it's the start of the new style, like the way they're taking Assassin's Creed forward, it's interesting, but then it's very dry, very quick in terms of like the places to explore. It's kind of like it's an open world RPG game where you have all these points of interest on the map and you go and explore and do those things, but then that's really it. And then you go and do the missions, and like it just feels like Black Flag all over again, in the sense that the ship aspects and like the naval aspects was enough to counteract how repetitive the assassinations were, or like the combat was. And here that's really not the case, but it's still kind of like still fun. Like like they build a beautiful world, really.
You think that it's a good first step, seeing as this is kind of a completely different, maybe
100%.
Maybe the next game will just be like that much better, but in that,
and I've heard a lot about Odyssey, so at some point I'll probably get to that once I'm through with this story. I'm not gonna not finish this, so it's just like right now it's sitting at a solid 7.5 out of 10. Good game. I'm not regretting the purchase at all.
I mean,
I'm
big
impressed.
sale, right?
Like,
yeah.
every time I have heard about Assassin's Creed's like any game in the series since like 2013, it felt like people loved it, but there was always some misgivings about it that kind of like kept people from saying it's a great game, just like weird tidbits here and there where it's like it's lacking the polish in some shape or form. And I feel like it's been like that since almost probably Black Flag. No, probably even before that. It's like Assassin's Creed 3. I just hearing something like that.
Assassin's Creed 3 was boring. Like, the story was dry. It was just boring from the beginning. Assassin's Creed 2 was a great sequel to the first one. The first one is always, it's pristine. Like, the first one,
yeah, the
you can't
Ezio
say
series.
anything bad about. Yeah,
Ezio,
like,
everything with Ezio is
great.
dope. Yeah.
And then 4 is fantastic on its own because the standard Assassin's Creed stuff is just fine. Like, it's just kind of like they didn't do anything new there. What they did new was naval combat, which was what made Black Flag great. Then Unity was, I think, the one that had a lot of bugs where you just see the teeth and the eyes of the person. Everything else was invisible. Brotherhood had its own flaws too, I think. I stopped paying attention to the series because the story also got too convoluted.
It's funny because there's only one game that I spent more like an hour on Assassin's Creed, and no one fucking talks about it. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I believe that came out. I think it was technically this generation, like PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Yeah, like it's fairly early on. And I tried playing it, and it's not a bad game, but like I understand that feeling where it's like, I feel like there's something off that like gives this game like almost like PlayStation 4 graphics, but it seems like almost PS2,
like
PS3
a bad port.
handling. Yeah, like it feels like this game looks like an HD port, but there's something that's just fucking bizarre with the way that like everything's handled. It's like story missions and all that stuff. It almost feels clunky, and I just wasn't like. I guess it sounds like it's almost a tradition at this point with Assassin's Creed games,
which is unfortunate because I think for as strong as the series started, it's just everything else has been a hit and miss past the Ezio stuff, in my opinion. Obviously, I haven't played Odyssey, and I haven't played Origins, but like, I don't know, I just feel like Origins actually was for free for a while, I think, on one of the platforms. I think it was. That's the one that takes place in Europe, yes?
Origins is the one that happens in Egypt.
Oh. Unity is the one Europe.
So when you said the story was dry because it was in Egypt,
in the desert.
you big brain motherfucker.
No, I was talking about Assassin's Creed 3. Which was in the States.
Fuck.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 3, I think, was enjoyed, but it was just too buggy. It was, an interesting concept to be a Native American, in their trend, running around on tree branches and stuff like that, but it just wasn't executed super well mechanically. Anyway, enough of that.
You
Anything
can run
else?
on tree branches?
Yeah,
I did want to say, I did say that Assassin's Creed Origins didn't have the Switchblade, but I guess I just hadn't gotten further in the story, because you do get it. Which I'm like, alright, cool, they're keeping the iconic stuff at least, because the Switchblade is awesome. But yeah, it has an interesting RPG system, interesting skill tree. I don't know how I feel about the leveling yet. I mean, it's fine, you just do things, get experience, and then you gain levels, and then you can get points that go towards different skills, like you have a falcon that can mark and track for you. So like you can go to a place and then enter a mode where you're looking through your falcon.
Like
and
when?
That's kind of cool,
you can use your falcon to scout and find things, find targets, highlight them so you can track them as well.
That's fine familiar right there. They took that from D&D, I think.
Do enemies like respond to that in any shape or form? Like, oh shit, this falcon shat on me.
No, and then you can also send your falcon to go and harass people as well. So like distract them.
Help action!
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's got some interesting systems. I don't know how Odyssey's going to be in that aspect. But beyond that, I've been playing a game called Outer Wilds, not to be confused with Outer Worlds.
Yeah, you started that last week, right?
Yes. And I've put 7 hours into this game. It is basically like an FPS exploration puzzle game.
Okay.
Where you're stuck in a time loop of 22 minutes. Like real time,
You've
22
talked
minutes.
about this before.
Baby Groundhog Day.
Before the sun explodes in this little universe that you're on. So it's like 5 planets on this little universe you're on, where you have a ship and you can fly around and explore the different planets and its moons. But every 22 minutes, the sun, and you can see like it actually happens where you see this. Like they kept to some amount of astrophysics. They kept some factual shit from astrophysics, where the sun, what happens when the sun is dying or when a star is dying, it starts to expand. And as it expands, it goes red. Like it starts to get red, and like the redder it gets and the larger it gets, the closer it is to dying. And then when it reaches that peak, it shrinks all the way down, turns into a white dwarf star, and then explodes in a supernova.
Awesome. Now, does that ever get repetitive? Like, how do they keep from that becoming something that's just like, oh god, now I got to restart, I got to go back to where I was, I got to do this and this? I can imagine. So that you start,
you start at the same place every time, but the distances between each planet is pretty. It's small. Like navigating around is not difficult. So now you're under pressure of finding out all the different what's going on. And so you have to go to each and every planet and figure out what's happening and get all these clues. And they explain in the lore, but basically you remember every loop, kind of like, what's the fucking movie with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt that's based off the manga?
Oh, gosh,
Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah.
Like you remember everything, like you retain all that information. And so you're
like a space-time Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, so your computer on your ship will log, for the player, will log all of that and show you like a chart of all the clues and things you found and what's connecting where, so you know where to start and go back if you die and you've lost track. You have to go to each planet, each place and explore and link all these clues together to figure out. I still haven't found out, I've put 7 hours and I don't know what's happening. Still, I'm still kind of lost, what,
is it keeping you interested, or does it feel redundant and you're like, fuck, I don't even really care?
Because you have 22 minutes, especially to navigate some places you can't go with your ship, so you have to go on foot. But then you have to be careful because, if you're on the surface, you have to remember, these are smaller planets as well, and you have, a jetpack. If you jetpack too high, you will leave atmosphere.
Because the atmosphere is so thin.
User is disconnected.
Just float through space for 22 minutes.
You have to, you'll run out of oxygen by then, so.
Oh, okay.
if you die, you just restart.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say it hasn't gotten repetitive because there's just so much to explore and so much information to find out that like it's like an exam. Like you want to get there as quick as possible and figure out and find out all the information, then die so that you can go do the next thing. There is, it's like a little spoiler, there is 2 planets called the Hourglass Twins. One's called the Ember Twin, one's called the Ash Twin. They're really close to the sun. And what happens is, because their unique property is that the Ash Twin is composed of sand, and that sand flows from Ash Twin to the Ember Twin and fills up the Ember Twin. So, to find out, like, the sand is going... It's like an hourglass. That's why it's called the Hourglass Twins. So it's like it's being turned around the other way, and then the Ash Twin is getting smaller, but the Ember Twin is filling up from the ground up because it's a planet made of cave systems. So you want to get there as soon as possible so that you can explore from the ground up, because there's shit that be buried by sand if you take too long.
The Majora's Mask level shit here.
That's dope.
Fuck, that's scary.
That's a really interesting concept, though.
And then if you get stuck, as Tyler was saying, scary, if you get stuck in one of the caves as it's filling up and you can't get out, it makes the most sickening noise of like the glass breaking and your skull getting crushed in. Ugh. And then you die. But like, yeah, so like things are like,
I can't play this game.
Like you have to. Okay, so there's one planet. I'm trying to not give away story spoilers, but there's one planet which like really set off my like anxiety when it comes to like underwater shit, because it's a planet of water.
Nope.
It's a planet of water.
Nope.
With
NTY. Eject.
Water
Start
tornadoes.
the timeline over.
Water tornadoes?
Like just
Like
water tornadoes
spouts?
going. It just constant tornadoes going across the entire surface of the planet that will launch isolated like chunks of land that are islands into space, and then they'll fall back. But every now and then there's one tornado that's spinning the opposite direction that will send you into the inner core of the planet. And when you
or exploration.
Or exploration. And so there's nothing like dangerous. Like there's no creatures that are dangerous. It's just the fact that when you enter the planet and like you can't see through that atmosphere, and so if you land right into like enter the atmosphere and go right into a tornado, you get shot right out, or you get shot down in and you're just surrounded by water and you don't know what's happening. Oh my fucking god. I almost had a panic attack because I'm like,
Outer
I don't know what's going on.
Wilds, right?
Outer Wilds, yes.
Is this also part of the summer sale?
Yes, this is all. And Summer Sale, by the time this episode comes out, Summer Sale will still be happening, so make sure that...
When does it end?
I believe it ends on the 9th of July. I will double check right now. Summer Sale, July 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Because I won't lie, I took advantage of the Summer Sale as well. So I have a game to talk about with that as well. Were you playing any other games, or do you have anything else left to say? Because that's really cool, and I'm like... I've got so many games to play, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. I just want to say, like, the anxiety is weird because even if you die, you're gonna come back. Like, there's no consequence to dying, but like, you still don't want to die, even though it's a game.
There's
like,
no degradation over time. Like, it's not like you have to solve this in 100 cycles.
Nothing. You just have to like figure out what's going on, and because it's meant to like. There's so many other things. Like, I looked up some spoilers when I got stuck, just a little bit to get to where I needed to. And it's just really like a lot of the things that I looked up, like half of them had no impact on whether I could reach the end or not.
Oh.
So like there's a lot of lore. It's a lot about building out the world, and like they want you to explore, and you can go and explore a lot of things. So like there's no like that's I think the only pressure that they want to put that time limit, but then there's no like other consequence for taking your time and exploring things as much as you want. Because sometimes there's only the one thing you want to explore, but it only becomes available in the last 5 minutes. And so like I've done this where I'll just go sit and wait for that to happen when I can explore it. So like I just wait for the rest of the 17 minutes because I don't want to risk going somewhere, getting sidetracked, and then missing that window.
Right. Fuck though, that's stressful. Like 22 minutes is, you can do a lot, but at the same time, it's like, fuck.
And there's no way to keep track of it either. You'll only know in like the last minute and a half.
Wait, there's no timer?
There's no timer. So you never know. That's why each life, once you've gotten far enough, you know what you want to dedicate
when the sun starts expanding
that day to.
Like, do you hear a noise or a song or anything? Or?
There's a song that cues when it's time.
This is
That's
the
cool.
song that never ends.
and
never,
it's about, like,
ends, never ends.
It's about a minute and a half. So you know roughly, like, all right, cool. Like, this song's playing. I need to get
90
shit
seconds.
Never
done
gonna
now.
give you up.
Yeah.
Never gonna let you down.
And then, like, it helps, like, once you, like, die enough because you're going to a place, you make mistakes, you start speedrunning, like, how to get there. Right? So, like, you just pick it up.
Feels like it's a game
Yeah.
that plays differently than any game I've ever heard of.
And I think it's also a game that it'll be a little unique to everybody based on how they like to play and how they like to solve puzzles. I'd already seen Seagull play this game, so I kind of had a rough idea of where to start and where to begin and some idea of the story. But, like, I'm finding things, because I didn't watch him play the entire thing because I'm like, I want to play this game. I'm finding things and I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. Why is that a thing? That's scary. Because, like, space is not as scary as the ocean, but space is still pretty scary. So when you're just jetpacking on, trying to go faster, and then you get yeeted, you yeet yourself through the atmosphere and you're hurtling through space, that shit is terrifying.
Is the ocean not just a super condensed form of space when it comes to, like, the mystery to us?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but they're
I
creatures
think
that live in the ocean. That's the big problem. They're creatures that live in the ocean that may or may not be lethal. Space is just a vacuum. As of right now, we know not
That
of
we
anything that
know
lives in
of. Yeah.
space.
Yeah, we definitely
that
know
we
there are
know
things-
of.
yeah.
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, speaking of that, have you guys seen all the freaking, like, at least the US government has been releasing a lot of, like, previously classified videos and stuff of actual unidentified flying objects and stuff. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Are you trying to fearmonger us into believing in aliens? Or I don't understand what the purpose of this is. Anyway, no, I agree.
Maybe
The
their
ocean
fucking
is way
videos
scarier.
hit public domain and they just said, fuck it, why not?
Yeah. Well, some of them are actual flight videos from like F-16s and Phantoms and stuff like that. So they're like Air Force classified videos of pilots, sometimes several pilots with the same camera seeing the same thing, and they declassified it and made it public. And I'm like, you don't know what this is. That is just going to cause panic. I don't understand the purpose. Anyway.
I mean, let's be real. There's been plenty of people who tried to be the Hokage to get into Area 51, but there's going to be that one time where there's one person that has like the resolute will of Pain himself, and he's going to come in with the Akatsuki and some shit, and these videos are going to keep them at bay. So honestly, I'd rather just give them what they need to, keep going. It's like, hey, we're being honest. We have no fucking idea what this ninjutsu does. And they're like, okay, thanks for giving it to us.
So those are the games for you. Did you not play any more TFT this week, Nick?
Actually, no. Like, I'm just listening to you games that
I'm
I
so
played.
proud
Like,
of you.
I haven't played TFT this week, but I did play Valorant and D2.
Valorant and
I see.
wait, did you say
Diablo 2.
D2?
Yeah.
No,
Diablo 2,
sure you
very
don't-
nice.
Not Destiny.
Holy shit.
2?
Shut the
Might
fuck
have
up,
been
Glenn. Let the
Destiny,
man
not
enjoy
Diablo.
his shit.
It might have been Destiny. Was there something that pulled you back in?
Yeah,
do you want to not talk
me not wanting to like miss out on certain things, and me wanting to collect and complete certain collections, and
FOMO.
also get ready to be disappointed again
Or is
in
it
September for the
FOMO,
next
fear of missing loot?
Well, I heard you also downloaded something else that you started playing again before we started the show. I don't know if you want to admit it publicly.
The fuck is he talking about? Nick? What did you download recently?
Maybe a
Question mark.
little sort of weird looking mon that you can only get one way.
Oh, Pokemon Go. Fuck Pokemon Go. I don't want to talk about Pokemon Go.
Oh,
Pokemon Go is
okay,
useless.
yeah.
It's a fucking stupid ass piece of shit game. I don't even know why fucking Niantic even bothered. Anyways, no, Destiny 2 is just a whole bunch of other things. Just wanted to get myself ready for to be disappointed when the next DLC drops. So, just want to make sure I'm up to level when sadness hits.
So that you can
Yeah, I
replace
got
all of your
fucking
gear.
I got Scrooged over on that one. I don't know why it says Scrooge. Maybe it's because it's Christmas versus Screwed.
Scrooged
But anyways,
over.
like that Pokemon Zeruya,
Oh, the free shiny
Thundercats.
legendary, yeah.
like the idea was to do 1 million raids and successfully, but then there was a couple like, oh, don't forget you got to do such and such asterisk.
Transfer it from
like
home.
the big
That's all you gotta do.
like transfer one Pokemon to the Pokemon system.
From home,
I thought it was the Pokemon system that was on the Switch. I was not aware that stipulation is for on the phone.
Yeah,
And
it's from the
so,
home.
according-
Wait, Isn't it the same thing?
I'm guessing
it's just from
You just
home.
you have to transfer from Sword or Shield to Pokemon Home.
And home is
which is the phone app, correct?
Oh, you can't do home as
No,
a
but
game
the phone app
on-
and the Switch app are connected.
yeah.
But apparently, if you just do the Switch app, this is according to my wife. I haven't confirmed it myself. It doesn't count. It had to be to the phone app specifically.
But then you can't connect with the phone app to the games. It doesn't work that way.
I've
Like the
never
Switch app and the
the
phone
phone-
app have to be connected to each other, and it's only the Switch app that works with the games. You cannot
Got it.
transfer from
So-
a game to a phone app.
I guess the contingency is then that if you do have the home app on your Switch, you have to make sure it's connected to the app on your phone, but you don't have to do it from there. But the contingency is that it has to be connected to the phone app. So you do have to have the phone app, but you don't necessarily have to do it from it. Does that make sense?
If that was the case, I did, LOL, don't read the contract. Let's skip this step for now. And I am one short of a Thundercat. I believe people
You
should
still
be
have time
getting
to the
it.
7th.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I got
well,
it.
guess
It's
what
in
I'll
there.
be doing? Making Christmas, making. But yeah.
What have you been playing this
For
week,
the-
Tyler?
That's a very good question, Glenn. Sometimes I ask myself that when I wake up. It's like, what
game
games
are you
have you
playing?
played this week? When I go to bed after a long day of work, I see my wife trying to, she's closing her fluttery little eyes, watching Netflix, and I just snuggle up to her and I go, "What games you been playing this week, girl?" Ellie,
Sister.
brother. Get my Hulk Hogan on. You know what? I honestly have been fucking busy as shit with everything that's been going on. Planning for tennis, or not for tennis. It's what I've been playing. Planning for Christmas and all that stuff. And one of the games I got to play, not even like a couple hours ago, was Mario Tennis Aces. Once again, first time I got to play in like technically 2 years. LOL question mark, because Mario Tennis Aces came out during my honeymoon, and then I got to play it for like 2 weeks after that, and my honeymoon was the 23rd of June, and so I have not touched it for over 2 years, but I might have tried it once in the past year. But long story short, best friend and I, whenever we meet up, we like to get competitive. Like, we're bros and we got to show each other, who's superior in our video game world. And, there's no medium that we can't do with each other on, whether it's like Mario Party or Super Smash Bros. Or whatnot. Last Christmas, it was Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is if you played Budokai or anything like that, or if you simply heard of FighterZ, it's a side-scrolling fighting game for Dragon Ball. And turns out, I'm horrible at that game. He destroyed me. Like 20 games, I won 2. Like it was vicious. And
That's
so
dominance.
this Christmas, yeah, it was. Like I had like fiery spirit. Like I was like the scrappy little fucking chihuahua barking at the Great Dane saying, another. And he was like, "Are you sure? You seem to be losing. Do you want any tips?" "No, give me another, bitch." And so doing that, switching over to my turn, I get to pick the game. This was a very dick move. I picked the game I know he can't beat me at, even if neither of us have ever touched it in years. Mario Tennis Aces, because for some reason, despite the odds, like there's been times where it's gotten close or whatnot, Nick in the chat cannot beat me in Mario Tennis Aces. Like there's a 99% win streak against him, and I feel bad because it's like I haven't touched the game at all. I should suck, and so should he, since he hasn't touched it. But it's just enough where it's like you keep winning at marbles and you kind of get that shit eating grin to your friend. You're like, "What's the matter, Nick? Yeah. It was 40 love, but I still won. What are you gonna do?" And I tried to handicap myself earlier by taking a couple of shots of some rum, and didn't quite do the trick. But hopefully, once the passion gets turned back on, we'll play some like Mario Party or something just to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
cool. Are you having
since
fun with
you
it,
guys-
though? I mean, having fun with it?
If
Do you like the game?
Yes and no. It's. I know this sounds really braggy, but I am, for whatever reason, the people I play with, I am incredibly good with Mario Tennis Aces. Like, I'm not sure if it's just something clicks with me the right way with the game that it doesn't with others, but my normal seems to be better than other people's normal, and if no one wins, I kind of like lose that spark where it's like a cat playing with a dead mouse at that point. It's like, come on, buddy, keep moving and whatnot. And like, it's really shitty to say this, but if I keep winning, there's no fun in it. Like, I need a challenger to put me in my fucking place ASAP. And so it's like, yes, I enjoy it, but after a while,
are you the champion? Are you the champion?
I am the champion.
Your
my
brother's
friend.
not your brother. You're the champion. It's a reference to Hop.
Yeah. I got you, buddy.
I thought I'd get Nick with that one because that's what he did. Is your brother champion? Is that your brother? Your brother champion? So you are Leon, and
yes,
and
yes, and when Nick in the chat walks around and he's going there, he's trying to get like a pop at the gas station. And he's like, "Hey, did you know my brother's the champion? He gets really lost and he really is bad at cooking." The guy, like, I just asked if it was debit or credit, but did you know my brother was the champion?
Oh man, that's great. I love it.
But yes, for the love of God, if somebody has Mario Tennis, beat me, destroy me. I don't care. Make me cry. Destroy everywhere. Like, it's fucking tennis of all the games I could possibly be good at. Why a fucking Mario sports game that I could be good at? Why not like Destiny or League or something? It's this fucking obscure Mario knockoff sports game that I'm good at.
I mean, everybody has,
I know, right?
Their
it's
areas of expertise, and you can't always control it. Sometimes you're just good at things.
It's just bizarre that I like. If it was Mario Party is impossible. Like, just, of all the games I could possibly be like enter savant mode for, it's that fucking game. But beyond that, I got to play some League of Legends with you. Got Detox because as I was shouting to myself, oh man, I better start editing this podcast or something like that. And then I saw that you were online playing League of Legends. I'm like, oh man, who needs to edit shit, son? Let's play League. And so, yeah, you and I got to play some League of Legends. That was fun.
That was good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been joining a lot more people. There's another streamer who found me when I was streaming more League, and I did the same thing. And I played with you, and I played with her on her stream, and it was fun. But yeah, so I don't know. How are you feeling about League?
It's weird because much like I think I might have pointed this out with when I was playing with League with you specifically, but whenever I play with friends in a game that involves competition, people change. Actually, I remember very specifically when I last hung out with you and played League, I told you this. People change when they play a competitive game, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, kind of thing, where I'm fucking SpongeBob walking through with a gun in one hand, a lollipop in the other hand, and like I'll see people that are normally calm just like, yeah, motherfucker, or just go dead silent, like they're getting ready to do some voodoo cursing on somebody that shot them and whatnot, or just like full on salt or sweat where it's like hardcore. And it's like, it's weird because everybody's, it's kind of like a biker gang where everybody's like, sitting at the bar like, yeah, let's drink and have fun. But then it's like, you see somebody accidentally get close to the Harley and all of a sudden you see chains and shit coming out. I'm like, oh shit, this is how we usually do it. Okay. And so playing League and like hearing somebody like yell at you saying, Glenn, you need to buy this item and do this and this. And it's like, oh yeah, this is what this is the community, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Me, it's like, I want to say, Glenn, buy whatever the fuck you want. You're playing Tryndamere? Buy fucking a bunch of fucking, what do they call them? The rods that give you mana. I don't give a fuck. Do what you want. Yeah. Be happy.
It's a game. Yeah, I agree.
It's a fucking game.
Gotta let people do what they want in games like that because, yeah, if you're not playing a game like that in a way that you enjoy, then what's the fucking point? Yeah. And that was the thing is like, I think we lost, didn't we? We lost. If I remember
I think
right.
we played like 3 or 4 games. We lost twice. I think we won once. A couple where it's like we got curb stomped, but they kept trying to like give us chances, if you will, like dance at the next kind of situation. It's like, all right, assholes, we'll let me get these dusty old bones up. I'm 8 and 15. Let's go for 9 and 15. Oh wait, what? 8 and 16. All right.
And ironically enough, League of Legends is one of those games where I've found a kind of a rhythm where I don't get triggered by League anymore. I don't get mad. I just go, it's
You
Lee.
become immune, huh?
We lost. Yeah, no, we lost or we won. Cool, good job. That was fun. We lost. That was fun. We won. But TFT still triggers me, so I have to be careful with that.
I feel you.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying it more just now that I've become immune to that. I'm like, all right, cool. Everything's fine. It's fine. It's League of Legends. It's fine.
Like, I talk about it with Nick and Glenn here about, how I'm the one that's enjoying it, having a good time and, licking lollipops and shit, where everybody else is like, screaming and fuming and stuff. I'm that way too. I just, some reason, don't show it. I haven't played a game long enough to where it's like, I go quiet, my eyes turn red level shit. And I'm afraid of the day that happens where it's like, oh, you're gonna fucking teabag me, you piece of fucking shit. All right. I'm gonna spend the next 15 minutes of my life trying to make your life hell. I don't care if I die 15 times while I do it. I'm gonna get you. And then I'm gonna unleash the fucking loincloth that holds my plate together and just drop the saltiest testicles across your fucking forehead. And I'm gonna slide it. I'm gonna make sure there's a scent left that can't be washed off. Like, that kind of mentality. Nick, what do you feel about teabagging?
It's fine.
Deep thoughts over at LR 11. Teabagging, it's fine.
It does trigger me as well. I agree. I do not like teabagging. Beat me all you want. Don't teabag me.
Well, I mean, like, Glenn, Nick, you guys play games that put you in that mindset where you're getting into the game like, all right, I need to show everybody why the fuck I'm playing this game, why I'm good at it. Like, how does the motions work in your head? Where it's like, do you just start tunnel visioning, where you start focusing hardcore? Like, what gets you into the mindset? Like, what triggers you to go into it's time to get sweaty? Like, how's that work?
It used to be when I was playing with people, I got sweatier a lot easier because I felt like I had to perform when I was around people. Personally, that's how it was for me. I don't know about Nick.
It's when the other team seems to be trying more than I am, really. Teabagging doesn't really do... Well, I'm not going to say that. Teabagging pisses me up, and then I use the rule, don't teabag unless we win. Like, if I get teabagged, I'm not going to teabag back until I win. If I don't win, I don't teabag. Because
it's a finishing
fucking idiot.
Smug humility.
Nothing smug
if you
about
lose
it.
the match...
He's a fucking idiot who tried to teabag me and establish dominance. I decided to actually activate my gaming chair, push his shit in, and then I decided to establish my dominance because he's a fucking dumbass idiot trying to make a fool of himself, teabagging the greatest fucking person in the world here. That's the feeling.
And the totally non-existent parallel of the other possible option where you actually lose the match or whatnot, you kind of slink off and you're like, well...
He was cheating.
Fuck you. Yeah, you're fuck you. using aimbot. I'm gonna purge this one from the memory. I'm gone. I want to experience that hardcore. I'm worried what that would make me as a person if I just because I haven't played a competitive shooter seriously since college days, and I don't know what would happen if I just went in the closest thing I've gotten to a competitive shooter was fucking Splatoon 2, guys. That guy used to fucking roller on me. It's it's hard to get mad. It's the guy covered me in pink. He Majin Buu'd me. And it's there's no Zensei. You guys know me in real life. It's not like I'm happy all the time. I can get mad. I want to see the game that does it, like a shooter game. I want to be fucking tilted. I want to see that happen.
Play COD.
Just to play COD. I got Call of Duty Warzone ready if anybody else wants to play.
There's a reason I don't play it.
Play it with me, Glenn.
Oh my god. I don't even have Warzone. I literally got so triggered in the
It's free. Just download it on your computer.
I know. I got triggered on the paid game. You think I'm not going to get triggered on the free game where people are paying to win?
It's a game about guns. You're supposed to pull the trigger.
I know. I do pull the trigger, but I always lose because I'm not good at shooters.
You actually have to aim at the head.
I know. I don't like that. Just let me play the MOBA where I click the person. There's more to it than MOBAs. You actually have to aim skill shots and stuff like that. But if I hit the person, I hit the person. There's no headshots, If I want to do that, I just, buy items that give me a higher crit percentage, stuff like that.
I like RPG style mechanics, essentially.
Yeah, effectively. Yeah, that's why the shooters just never... I was pretty good at Halo 2. And Halo 3.
What was your weapon of choice in Halo 2 or Halo 3? Like, what was your favorite weapon?
Double needlers.
Really? Ooh. You like
Or
that
Grafhammer.
satisfaction of like getting them to explode pretty much by hitting them enough?
Oh, my
And
favorite
two of them
trick
fixes
was running around with a grav hammer or 2 double needlers and like shooting them and knowing that they were going to die. And then I chuck a grenade at somebody, know that it hit them, and then just keep going because I know they're going to die. Or you hard cuck somebody because you use sticky grenades, and if they catch you unaware, you save it. And then you just chuck it at them as they get close when they're about to kill you. And then even though they totally outdueled you and beat you, you just go, haha, you're dead anyway, idiot.
Like, cue the fucking Powerpuff Girls meme where it's like Mojo Jojo and him going, that's so evil, I love it.
But because of that, I was pretty good. You know, at least I was competitive with my friends, and that's all I cared about. I was like, we had fun. You know what I mean? It wasn't a Mario Tennis situation where I just wrecked everyone, you know?
I've been feeling competitive urges for like the past 2 weeks now. Like I need something to either show that I'm capable of doing like a certain game if I play it enough, or otherwise just feel a humility and be put back in my place. Like I can tell I've been in a moment of stress in my life when I realized I had a dream about fucking Fortnite. I played that game like 5 times, all of which was with Nick. Both, you know, great times, but when I'm having a dream trying to understand why I'm making like weird 3D models out of a printer using wood, like I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and it was my brain saying, yeah, Tyler, you still don't know how to fucking build the wall in Fortnite, you fucking scrub, get good. And it's like, I don't need the dream about that, get me out of here. And so yeah, I keep thinking about fucking Destiny. The idea that if I can get good, I can get the armor that gives me faster regen, and I just learn how to play better with the Graviton Lance. I know I feel like learning to play like that is pretty much like low level PvP mentality, essentially. Because the meta, I mean, Nick, you know the combat meta of PvP on fucking Destiny 2 a lot better than I do. Like, you can't just specialize in a pulse rifle and be good. Like a lot of people do either sniping with a hand cannon or something like that. And then if you're up close, baseball fucking slide with that shotgun, baby. And, you know, occasionally with heavy and all that stuff. But me, it's like, I just want to go pew pew with the badoosh, badoosh. And I don't think that's viable.
It is. You just have to.
It is?
Yeah, pulse rifles have been the meta since D2 Year 1. So since launch.
Right from the start, you were a thief, you stole my heart, and you will. Oh, okay, Glenn, you're hosting. Oh wait, I got a game that I forgot to talk about.
No.
Yeah. So this is a game that I wouldn't say got pushed upon me, but got bought into my pocket, essentially. Other people paid for this game saying, hey, you should play this, you should stream it. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I played a good majority of Shantae Half Genie Hero, which was the previous installation in the Shantae series. How much have you guys played Shantae or heard of it?
Never, ever in my whole life till I read that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's weird because Shantae is 100% one of those cult classic game series for the most part. And I believe the first game came out on the Game Boy Color after the Game Boy Advance came out. Like it was one of those bizarre situations where it's like they released a game that like a little too late for it to hit the mainstream, but people kept picking it up, you know, late into the game, like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking good, and they got into it. And if I understand correctly, Nick in the chat was explaining to me that WayForward hit a niche crowd by finding people that enjoyed speedrunning it. Just the idea, like, it's such a fun platformer game that speedrunners love the shit out of it. And, you know, they don't care if there's, you know, not the top-notch story or whatnot. You got cool, cute dancing girl that you can run around and try to, you know, get races and whatnot. And so, as somebody who just wants to play the game casually, I was not fully aware of, like, the nature of Shantae and the Seven Sirens in particular. The game, you know, you play as a half genie named Shantae, titular character, shocker, who goes to a festival and meets other half genies. for the first time, as far as I'm aware. Like, I think this is the first time they suggested that there's other people like her that, are of, like, you know, mommy was a genie, daddy was a human, or something else. Because there's some weird combinations that happen there where it's like, kind of like some D&D level shit where it's like,
Genasi.
half elf. What the fuck are Genasi?
An air Genasi is a half Jinn, half human.
Oh, okay. That, you know, like half elf. Elf meets human. Usually, you know, sometimes there's a bit of a mix up, but you know what I'm talking about. Half orc. Tieflings even. Aasimar, to some extent. I believe Aasimar are technically supposed to be offspring of, Diva. And then tieflings are offsprings technically, you know, there's, different lores and different reasons for it from, you know, devils, I believe. Or is it demons?
Demons and devils.
Okay. And, you know, with that mindset, you know, the fact that there is a half genie, Shantae, who is a human father, genie mother, they decided to go with a couple interesting routes. Like, for example, there's a half genie that is a fucking zombie, where it's half zombie, half genie. And like, I'm trying to like, so did the father have...
I didn't realize being
you
a
know?
zombie was a genetic thing that you could pass on.
That you could turn into a race, essentially?
Yeah, that feels like a condition that's put on you. It's like a curse, effectively. It's like you can't pass lycanthropy on.
You say that, but I mean,
in that
tieflings
world.
have to suffer. Yeah, in this world. Fuck. Like, it didn't understand. Like, even Shantae was like, so how did that work? And she's, you know, this person's like, fuck if I know. Who are you? And so the game has like a lot of leniency with like, how things are being played out and whatnot. And with the way it's running through, it's basically a puzzle platformer that, you know, you get power-ups as you continue on. And almost, in a Metroidvania style where it's like you can't go to this location until you get a new power-up kind of thing. And so with that in mind, you gotta do a lot of exploration, see something, realize, oh shit, I gotta come back to that later with the power-up and whatnot. All the while, the music by WayForward in this is mwah. Like, honestly, if there's anything to get out of any of the Shantae series is the fucking music. Like, Dance Through the Danger is probably one of my favorite songs I've heard from a game this side of the decade. And like, it's almost on the same level as that. And I know this is probably going to fall flat on you guys as, like Undertale. The music on Undertale is like,
Really good.
has reached a loud, you know, a very, very vocal crowd saying, holy shit, this music's great. And Shantae does a very similar, like, style of, music, and it is, the problem that I had with this, and it dampered, because, much like Ready Player One, I can talk great or horrible about a game and have what appears to be a opposite opinion. I'm very pissed off with Shantae right now. Despite the fact that I'm enjoying it, I'm having a good time with it, a couple hours in. The first thing is, boss mechanics. I discovered the first boss, and, you know what? It's an hour in. I'm going to spoil it. Shocker. It's one of the most reoccurring villains in the entire game series. It's Risky Boots. Risky Boots, is, a lady pirate who decides that she just wants to do nefarious deeds. Imagine Miss Fortune from, League of Legends kind of style. And, you know, it's like, your main mechanic as Shantae to fight is whipping your hair. Like some Willow Smith level shit, you know, you whip your hair back and forth. And, you know, you gotta understand, if that's your only mechanic, you can't even jump on a enemy or a boss or whatnot to inflict damage. It's almost like playing Mega Man, except you have a fucking sword. That is your hair. And so running around and fighting a boss like that is kind of strenuous, but that's how it's always been for Shantae. That's not my problem. The problem is the boss. Risky Boot, her main method of attacking is very, very scary. She walked towards you. She walks across the screen. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna walk towards you. Watch out, motherfucker. And it's like, there's enemies that have like more complicated, you know, fight patterns and whatnot. And she's just like walking towards you. It's like, oh no, I gotta jump over her. She's just nonchalantly walking. Her smoldering gaze will destroy me if I get too close. And just like that, being their main attack, just like, it kind of felt disappointing. And I guess the other thing that really kind of killed the mood for me is, this game has a manual, save mechanic. That's how, like, there's no autosave or anything like that. So there's, instead of checkpoints, there's checkpoint rooms where you gotta stop and save. And I guess it's kind of like a decision as somebody who wants to speed run this game, is, you know, do you want to save just in case you die? Because if you don't and you die, you're going to lose a lot of progress pretty much. It's like a one-shot run. It's almost like a badass decision where it's like, this game might be 5 hours long, but if you want to save an extra second, you know, you got to run past that checkpoint and look fucking badass. But if you die, it's all gone. You lose your quarter essentially in this arcade game. Sorry, I realized that I've been doing a lot of talking. I would just as much love to hear you guys like listen for your thoughts too.
Oh yeah, I mean it sounds interesting. I've never played it, so I don't have any way to comment on it. Willow Smith running around whipping people in a Metroidvania style game sounds like the opposite of my kind of game, honestly. But you know, still think it sounds. I'm happy that you're enjoying it a little bit, but you're also, I don't know, you're frustrated with it, so I don't know.
I did have to do a hard stop because there was a hard crash that happened while I was playing the game live on stream, no less. Where basically, I think that like one of your abilities as Shantae is you can turn into like certain creatures to do like superpowers essentially. Like one you turn into like a water newt and you jetpack across the screen so you can jump over like ledges or chasms and whatnot. I don't think the game expected me to superpower to the edge of the screen to take me to the next area. And it was like, whoa, no. And it didn't like freeze right there, but it just wouldn't let me continue on. And all of a sudden, like the continue to the next screen, just like that code just like blue screened right there. But the game was still moving around and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. I guess I can't go that way anymore? Question mark. Like, I didn't understand what the fuck was happening. And so I walked on and all of a sudden I realized I couldn't do my superpower anymore. But I could still jump and move around. The music was playing. And all of a sudden I realized I couldn't attack. And like, I was slowly losing bits and bits of code of doing stuff. And all of a sudden, like, I jump in the air and then the game just froze right there. I'm like, oh, shit. And then when I restarted, I realized that I haven't been running to the checkpoint rooms and I lost 45 minutes of progress. And I'm like, oh, not because I died or anything, because of a failure in the code, I lost almost, you know, a half hour to an hour of progress. And it's like, I don't like that. That bugged me. Putting that much time in a game.
Bugged you?
What's up?
It was a bug.
But yeah.
That's no bueno.
No, it isn't.
But I mean, like, kind of like Nick said, he said on his game, he was like 7.5 out of 10. What are you giving this so far?
I mean, I'm only like 2 hours in. I don't know how much time is into this game. I say 2 hours in, but I guess now I'm like an hour, 15 minutes in. Rip. Doing great. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to let that kick to the nuts, like, be what tells me to put this game away. Because I've done that before. I've had a game where it's like great, but then you get that fucking like glory shot where it's like you're so mad. You're like, I'm never going to touch this game again. That can't ever happen to me. Like it broke one of the 10 commandments of gaming. Like, don't hard crash and make me lose all the progress I had to work for. I'm not going to do that, but it's put me in a bad mood about it where I look at it, I'm like, all right, gotta scrape back. So yeah. Nick in the chat saying to speed run it for a trophy, it's 4 hours. So I'm clearly not gonna like need to. For me, that probably means like 6 to 8 hours, knowing how well I'm gonna like play through it or whatnot. So it's not like mind destroying. I'm playing out of the Switch, by the way, for anybody who's curious. That's where I had the hard crash on. Just probably something happened with the port that didn't agree with the Switch. Yeah, that's been pretty much my week. Just doing that, and I'll have a bunch more games I'll get to talk about once I get back to my Switch and PlayStation 4 and celebrate some old Merry Chrysler, if you will.
Happy Chris Mahana Kwanzaa. Yeah. That's cool.
That's like a level 9 spell for a class I'm not trained in.
Well, I personally have been playing a lot of games this week. I didn't really focus on one specific thing. You know, like, usually I'll play like maybe 2 or 3 games, but this week I realized how many I was that I had played as we were talking about things, and several of them are, you know, stuff we talked about. I played League with you. I've been playing TFT a little bit. I finished another playthrough of Sword and Shield so that I can go to the Isle of Armor next time I'm on stream for that game, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Because I watched Nick play it a little bit and it seems really cool. But I don't know, man. Pokemon's been fun. There's not much to talk about there. I'm just excited to get to the Isle of Armor.
It was kind of weird for me because I got the evolved form of the legendary Pokemon. I believe you'll get it. It's like Hub Fu or something like that. I didn't realize that after evolving it, that was pretty much the span of like the story plot of that DLC. Unless I'm mistaken on that.
I haven't touched it yet, so I don't know anything about it. So,
is there any story after doing that challenge that you know of?
What challenge?
Not really. You'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't know anything.
Sorry, like I didn't want to spoil it for you, Glenn. I was just like, I nonchalantly quit playing Pokemon after a certain point, not realizing I had quit after I finished the main story of the DLC. And I was like, oh, maybe I should pick it up. And I was like, oh, there's nothing left besides collecting fucking Diglets.
Which is easy. It only took me about 2 hours.
That's game content right there, collecting Diglets.
Mm-hmm. But past that, I went to the sale. And one of my friends has been playing a lot of Warhammer Total War. And so
nice.
I wanted to... He was one of my main League buddies. He's an IRL friend that I met when I worked at a comic book store. I invited him to D&D and introduced him to that. But obviously that's all been kind of on hold. And so the only time we got to interact was when we were playing games. And he was like, every time I'd be like, let's play League, he would just be like, oh, I'm playing Total War, so I'm really into this right now. And so being somebody who really likes the Warhammer universe and likes RTSs, I was like, let's see if it's on sale. And I was able to get Total War Warhammer 1 and 2 for $30 total, which is an amazing deal.
Right. I guess my big question is, as somebody who's never touched a Warhammer game, like, you say you played, like, first off, how many of these games are there? Because it sounds like there's more than a few.
For the Total War series, there's a lot.
Okay.
There's like Shogun, Rome, the Warhammer stuff. Basically, they just took the game and its basic mechanics, which is there are units. These units have features and abilities and a speed and attack power and defense. And the game itself is a combination of diplomacy and combat. You can work your way through. There's ways to, like, diplomatically make it so that you kind of absorb another faction rather than fighting them, taking them over and taking their stuff. But the cool thing is that you get lords and heroes that you can, like, go on side quests where you, like, take a turn to, like, explore, kind of like Civ level turn to go, like, explore this thing with this army. And then when you get there, sometimes there's resistance from some sort of innate people that live there, or you have to choose how you want to interact with the place. And then in that way you can get, an item that you can put onto a hero to make him or her more powerful. But there's, like, in the game I'm playing, it's crazy.
Warcraft. Like, is it, so it's basically Warcraft-esque in terms of, like, the style and play?
I've never played Warcraft, so I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
But I have played Warhammer.
That's fair. Like, what kind of setting? Because you're describing Rome and whatnot, but I guess for me it's space, usually. Like Space Marines and all that.
Oh, that's Warhammer 40k. There's Warhammer 40k and then there's Warhammer Fantasy. So one takes place 40,000 years later, which is the 40k. So that would be in the vein of, can't remember what there. I know there's games that relate to it, but the cool thing is effectively in combat, the units and stuff function just like playing the game with the miniatures. So there's these units, you choose their formation, there's terrain that you can use to your advantage, you set it up, you can siege places, you can be sieged.
There's a board game or a tabletop game for
it's a tabletop game.
Warhammer?
Mm-hmm.
Did it start off as a tabletop and then this is just a... Jesus, holy smokes.
And so that's why it's a nice transition, because I know the more complicated version where I've set up board games that were literally like my entire living room floor, so it's like a 10 by 15 foot space inside the couches and TVs. And then we would take the time to, like, roll effectively an initiative, and we had like a card for each unit. with specific abilities that we
fuck.
chose to go against that one group. And then we would move them around. And in the old fantasy stuff, because they did kind of a rebranding for the Warhammer series, and it went from fantasy to Age of Sigmar, which is when my buddy was like, fuck this game, I'm out, because his favorite faction was the Elves, and they kind of like retconned a lot of stuff that he loved. But that's why the Total War games are really great, because they function on the same old canon of Warhammer Fantasy, not Age of Sigmar. And
That's awesome. Like, the idea that, for a lack of a better way of describing it, games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, they do the second level chess mindset where it's like, yes, we got the game, but we do also have the full-on trading card system. But then you have like fucking Light Yagami from Death Note coming in saying, what if we make an entire tabletop game first and then build a game off of that? It sounds like really complicated, big brain stuff. Like the idea that Warhammer has a wild assortment of like different settings, like 40K being space, the whole fantasy and all that stuff. Like it almost sounds like Dungeons and Dragons in a different format.
Which one of the lead rules designers from I don't know if it's Chris Lindsay or it's Mike Merles. Mike Merles, he's one of the rules designers for Wizards and D&D, and he was a huge Warhammer guy, and so like OG Warhammer stuff. And so he took a lot of the mechanics from that original game, kind of like a la Dota to League or, whatever, like took what he loved from that and moved it over. And so like rolling to hit and stuff like that always has been an RPG sort of system, but especially with the more modern ones, he took the pieces of that. And so that's why modern D&D can be played in a purely tactical sense, where the game is fun because I enjoy the mechanics of combat, and I run a campaign with people who enjoy that, so we can just play, we move between combat encounters. We're not really that big and concerned with RP. Or you can just basically ignore that, do theater of the mind, and so that's part of the reason why it's been so flexible, is that they took some of the mechanics from older Warhammer rule sets from the tabletop game. But that's when I made a lot of my money, my side hustle here in LA, painting Warhammer miniatures for people. So.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Make that cha-ching, paint them. So when it came to like the tabletop version of playing this game, I know the examples I'm about to give are going to fly over your head, but I'll describe them real quick. Is it kind of like Fire Emblem for the GameCube, where it's like fight to fight to fight to fight? Or is it like Fire Emblem Three Houses for the Switch, where it's like you fight, but then there's a bunch of story and role play that you do between each fight when you're doing it, like almost like Dungeons and Dragons style? Or is it just like we keep throwing you scenario after scenario of combat?
You choose when you want to go into the combat more often than not. Now it is
Renegade Mass Effect style.
Yeah, Mass Effect style, but I could choose to invade this person right now, or I can try and, on one turn send a gift to them for a non-violence pact, or I can try to establish a trade route with them. Over time, building enough confidence in each other that we can, become friends. But if I ally myself at some point with somebody that doesn't like them, that will affect my friendship with that faction. And so you have to kind of look at the whole thing as a whole. So I'd say it's more like Three Houses, because it does implement elements of diplomacy and rather than just being like move from combat to combat.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a kind of an immersive game, and the crazy thing is we played for 3 hours while he was teaching me. I haven't played it since because it was just a lot of information, so I needed to detox.
It's gonna definitely be a lot to take in, dude.
Yeah, it was a lot, and I was just like, okay, I need to detox a little bit. Now I know how to play this, but we got like 20 turns in. We didn't even, I don't think that a single faction had been eliminated yet in 3 hours. And so, but it's a whole world. It's a giant world. And so we're playing a co-op campaign where we are allied. Now, obviously, we have the choice to break that alliance if we want, and then it becomes PvP. But you start
then you guys
already allied.
Divorce.
Yeah, we can. But we can have a joint victory in this way. It allows for him to kind of like assist me. He can do a trade agreement with me, which benefits me in the money department, help my coffers fill up a little bit. But enough about that. It's fun. It's interesting. And it's super on sale right now until the 7th. The other big thing, and I don't know if you guys have been able to touch this yet, which a lot of people I think that listen to this will appreciate, is the Midsummer update. Have you guys played that yet for Animal Crossing New Horizons?
I
haven't touched Animal Crossing since.
But
since
I mean,
the
we both
summer's
played it, so we
hit.
can talk about it, you know, in the shared section here at the end. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
It's cute.
That's exactly how I feel.
Like, there's really nothing much more than that.
I thought it was going to be more than it was.
I mean,
Like,
I'm not gonna complain.
what does it
It's something
entail?
free. You get to go diving, swimming and diving.
There's a pirate Gulliver.
Like a pirate version of Gulliver? Is it actually Gulliver, but like as a pirate, or is it like a
haven't run into
seagull
him yet.
with?
Oh, I met the otter. Otter is fucking cute.
Pascal, yeah.
Pascal, yeah. Dude, I love otters so much.
Yeah, no, there's an otter that you can meet who is similar to the snow boys in the winter times. Since I'm in the southern hemisphere, I know about this. You guys may have visited it, but if you build a snowman, they come to life and they offer you recipes if you make a perfect enough snowman.
Black magic.
Yeah, he's like, wow, you made a perfect snowman. Here's a large snowflake, which is the main crafting component in the winter style recipes. And they will give you one a day until they melt away. But that's what Pascal is. You dig up a scallop and he goes, hey,
Let
can
me
I have that
teach you
scallop
my
for a
knowledge.
pearl? Yeah. They make some pretty funny jokes, honestly.
I got to see like 45 seconds of this, and like watching a few players leap off the pier nonchalantly into the water was like, it almost felt like that first time I played modded Breath of the Wild, where it's like, oh shit, you can do that now. Okay, but it's a fucking update to Animal Crossing. You could just leap into the water now. Like, fuck.
Only when you're wearing the wetsuit, though.
And there's a new category of things to collect.
Yep.
Ooh.
There's only 35 of them, though, which made me sad. I was like, oh, no. Oh, I played for 2 hours, and perspective-wise, I went to Sarah's Island in the Northern Hemisphere, and it was raining, and I am halfway done with that whole part of the Critterpedia.
So is it like
hours.
kind of like the art section update where it's like there's a new section in the museum where you can collect stuff to donate to Blathers on, or
No, they just
It's
go in
still-
the aquarium. It's just in the phone app. It's a different section.
Well, some of them... Oh, yeah, it's a new section. Yeah, so, like, they will go in the same... Yeah, there's not an addition to the aquarium or anything. It's just they get added to the current...
Which makes sense. Like, this was always planned because the aquarium was bigger than the amount of fish there were. And I was like, there's no way. Like, that looks like a jellyfish tank. Surprise, surprise. They're jellyfish.
Yeah.
right.
Yep. But, I mean, it is fine, I think.
I just haven't touched Animal Crossing in a while, and I'm just happy to just go around and start collecting things again. Pulling
I
out
will say,
fucking
Tyler-
massive fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to get it, Tyler, go, because you have to order and wait for the wetsuit for a full day.
No, you can buy one from... No, you can buy one from the store.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I ordered it yesterday because I was like, screw this. This sucks. I have to wait for a whole day to play this, and it's already out.
There's one in the store, Glenn. You didn't read it
Dang
properly.
it.
Glenn, let's be real. You tell me, like, Tyler, you're gonna have to order and sit there for a whole real life day and just suffer knowing that everybody else, for some weird reason, is able to do it like day
Immediately,
one. Like,
yeah.
and it's
I
like,
thought
that's
they
weird.
ordered
I
it the
don't
day
know what's
before or
happening.
something. I don't know. You do get. I do
They
know
pre-ordered the fucking wetsuit.
that they do give you the. Everybody gets like a snorkels mask,
yeah.
and they're different colors. They are randomized
Yeah.
colors. What colors?
Mine
Oh,
is
that's
pink.
cute.
Mine's pink too.
I don't like it.
Wait,
Yeah, my wife got a blue one, so I was kind of jealous. I was like, I would rather have a blue one. She was like, you want to trade? And I was like, no.
Yeah, this is mine.
I think I'd be happy as long as I didn't get like yellow or orange. Like yellow or orange for goggles. I don't know why.
Just
I'm
like
just not a
Starbursts.
big fan of those colors. Like,
Worst
I take
flavor of
red,
Starbursts.
green, blue. Really? You think those two colors are the worst?
Yes, my favorites are red and pink.
I guess
I don't
if it
think
wasn't
I've
for
had
the,
Starburst in years, so
I just feel like a red Starburst is like 90% sugar and then 10% red 40. I don't know what it is besides that. Like maybe like the smallest slapping of like cherry flavoring or something on there just to remind you that it's actually, unique and not just pure corn syrup in this weird hard gelatin form.
that's
I
all.
don't know what kind of
them, though.
Starburst. I don't know what kind of Starburst you're eating then, because I could taste the cherry.
Fucking American candy.
I don't think it's different. At least I'd like to think that it's not.
They're all different flavors.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's different from the stuff they sell in Canada.
I think in terms of like brands delivered, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I feel like
Also,
there's
Starburst is vegan. Handy tip. If you're
Good
a vegan
stuff.
fans
Oh.
need a snack, Starburst and Oreo.
It's also
Oreo,
gluten-free.
one of the worst foods
Wait, not
of all
gluten-free.
time for people. It's actually been proven to be one of the most unhealthy things you can eat in the world.
I can't believe I just said Starburst.
I thought you were about to say worse as in it tastes bad. No, please.
Oh, no. Tastes wonderful.
yeah.
Terrible for
okay.
you.
Yeah, okay. That's acceptable.
What I meant to say was Starbursts are trans fat free, or fat free, which technically is true. And technically correct is always the best kind of correct.
It's like
but
Red
it's the
Vines
reason-
and Twizzlers.
Yeah, they're also fat free. Turns out.
Yep.
Glory be that they're not dipped in animal fats.
What other? I'm trying to think if there's any other like big. Oh, there is some limited time event stuff that you can buy in the ABD console thing through the special goods store. So
Like Christmas stuff.
I
there's
don't
a flower
remember.
crown.
Yeah, I think there's. Oh my gosh, Midsummer. Oh no, did you guys see that movie?
No.
It was so interesting.
Wait,
Just
what
makes me
movie?
think of that.
Midsummer?
Midsummer. Yeah.
Sounds like a Shakespearean play or something.
Well, the movie is not.
What's Midsummer about?
It's about this
A
girl.
couple travel to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown for its fabled Midsummer Festival, but what begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult.
It's a fucking horror movie. Fuck.
Yes. But
Could have
it's
just
like,
said that.
I think it's more in the vein of a psychological
night.
thriller because they don't you're for most of the time you're trying to figure out what's going on exactly. You know they do a good job of veiling exactly what's happening. It was really well done, but still pretty terrifying at times.
Just the idea of going to any kind of festival right now with the current like standards of today's like safety regulations just sounds like a horror movie in itself. Like,
Well, Americans won't be invited. The rest of the world can't be invited because
Oh my
we're doing
God.
okay.
Did you see? Okay, you guys haven't seen Eurovision, no?
No,
No.
I'm aware of what Eurovision is. I haven't seen the movie or the actual show.
There's a running joke in it, and if you ever watch it, it's fine. It's not a plot thing. But Will Ferrell's character runs into some Americans, and he's just like joking with them, but he goes, "We hate you. You don't need to be here anymore. Leave. We don't like you." And they're like, "Ah, nice one, bro." He's like, please, but seriously, leave. We hate you. Leave Europe." You know. And
Well, so
it's
They're talking about
That's very
opening up
funny.
the European borders right now, right? With
No.
like air regulations and stuff. Yeah,
they
they
banned
are.
Americans, but they banned
I was
Americans,
I was
right?
gonna say, like, if they're gonna do that, they're gonna ban America.
Good.
Which
Please
is
do
good.
until
Yes.
our people. Yeah, Americans are finally getting their heads out of their asses. Like some of my
I will not be muzzled.
the legislators in my family.
I will not be leashed. I am not an animal.
I
Oh my
had
gosh.
a
I'm not a
60
terrorist.
IQ thought when you guys were just saying like Europe closed their borders to the US. I'm like, how the fuck did they close the entire Atlantic Ocean? And it's like, that's not how that works. Actually,
Yeah,
so
geography's
they're putting-
geography's not the strongest suit for most Americans. Don't worry.
Whoa! When I was in 7th grade, I could draw a map of the world, bro.
and I can tell you where the fuck Saskatchewan is now. And you don't have to correct how I pronounce it. I say how I do it. Okay, charcoal, carcoal, whatever.
Saskatchewan? Isn't that how you pronounce
Yes, yes,
Saskatchewan.
I think
it? Saskatchewan?
I say Juan versus Win.
I mean, I feel
Saskatchewan.
like that's like Missouri, Missouri. I call it Missouri, but somebody that lives in Missouri calls it Missouri. So I feel like that's
Really?
a regional dialect.
That's
yeah.
weird.
So it's
Yeah,
like
that's- I
Kansas
mean,
and
it's like-
Arkansas.
It's like, well,
That doesn't
like
make fucking sense. That's
how do you
fucking stupid.
how do you pronounce Louisville? Like Louisville, Kentucky. It's the capital of Kentucky.
Right, even though it's supposed to be
Is it Louisville? Is it Louisville? Is it Louisville? People that live there call it Louisville. So I mean,
That I thought I was gonna say if you're in fucking Kentucky, I felt like it was Louisville, and then anybody who hasn't been to Kentucky call it Louisville, but
oh, it's Louisville.
I didn't know. Well, I'm sorry that they had so much fucking meth they accidentally missed a fucking consonant in their whole damn city there.
I mean, it's just a regional dialect. It's how they pronounce it. It's not wrong. It's
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna hit
different.
this amphetamines and it's gonna be Lolville.
Wow, that's a very generic statement about an entire state. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just different. It's fine.
Just call it Rothelville, like just make it funnier.
But I call it Louisville now because that's how they pronounce it. But now that I know it's Saskatchewan, I will pronounce it Saskatchewan. I will just alter because
At least that's
the
how I've
people
heard
that,
it. I don't know if that's
I
the
think
actual
the people
Saskatchewan.
that live there deserve to,
Saskatoon, Alberta.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vancouver,
It's my fucking shame
Manitoba.
that half my family.
Quebec, not
Quebec.
Quebec. Quebec. Yep.
Half my family comes from Kentucky. It's like one of my deeper shames that no one wants to talk about kind of thing. Where half my family, my mom's side, comes from entirely from Michigan in terms of like living in the States, and then my dad's side came from Kentucky. Like they're like hardcore rednecks, where it's like we're gonna make our own M40s and see how many firecrackers we're gonna throw together inside this fish. And it's like it's a legit thing where we've done that kind of shit before, where we like gunpowder is adrenaline to us. We get excited the idea of like, oh boy, Uncle Dave only lost 2 fingers this year. He's going to try to go for a record, see if he can get it clean off the bone. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens.
That sounds cool. I'd be interested to see how it turned out.
I'm into it. Like there was one time where I spent $5 on one of those day after July 4th sales where clear out the stock, get a half a trunk full of fucking bottle rockets, and my dad's like, I'm not gonna. He was like, I'm not going to keep half a trunk full of fucking bottle rockets, Tyler. And it's like, well, what do we do? And he's like, well, there's only one way to take care of them. So he puts like 10 pounds worth of fucking bottle rockets on the sidewalk, puts some lighter fluid, tosses a match, and boy, was that a fucking sight.
Have you heard of sparkler bombs?
No, but I want to now.
Basically, you know how sparklers work, right? Nick, I know that Tyler does, okay. Sparklers are simpler. You guys understand. For those who don't know what a sparkler is, it's just a stick with this stuff on it. You light it and it goes and it just sparkles all the way down until it's gone. But what people will do is they'll wrap like 200 together and then light the whole thing. And because of the amount of them in the same space, it will actually explode.
I was going to say that's pure fire. Like that shit.
Oh, it's super dangerous. It's super fucking dangerous. I mean, like I told you, my buddy, his dad ran a fireworks stand in a town called Council Grove, little town. And they would go to a yearly firework convention, and somebody was not doing the correct thing, and they tried to blow something up. They ended up blowing like his entire lower half off. So I think he died. But yeah, so like people just do stupid stuff. I mean, I threw firecrackers. I mean, I had a quick wick a couple times on a black cat. And that's why it blew up in my hand, but like it just burnt me a little bit. I wasn't going to throw an M40, like, I don't know. I never did anything crazy. Because even the Roman candles I shot at my friends didn't have reports. They weren't blowing up. They were just straight shots. If it hit him, it was going to burn a hole in their shirt, and that was as bad as it was going to get,
Right.
So fireworks are fun, man.
Like, I stopped messing with fireworks because I'm not a trustworthy individual for anything that's, beyond sparklers. Like, I accept it. If it's one of those tower things you put in the ground, you light the fuse and you walk 20 feet away and, it shoots up little sparks, just, crackles and shit, that's fine. The last 2 times I messed with fireworks, the first one was I decided to initiate a bottle rocket fire off against, my wife's brother, my brother-in-law. Yes. And I've told the story before. I decided to do that while wearing a 100% cotton shirt. My shirt caught fucking fire doing that shit. It was funny. I lost that shirt. I really like that shirt. The time before that, and what should have cemented the fact that I shouldn't be touching fireworks, is when I was using artillery shells. And old Tyler didn't know which way you're supposed to put the artillery shell in the tube. So that... yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Round
Tyler
side up.
Fuck if I knew, dude. I was like, well, the fuse is right here. So let's put the fuse to where, like, I'm holding because I was scared of this thing. You blow a hand off doing this stuff. Let's hold the fuse above the tube, light it, and then drop it like a fucking mouse, which is clearly the wrong way, as we quickly discovered. Yeah. And after that happened, my wife, I don't even think she was my fiance at the time. It was probably like she was at girlfriend stage. She could have ran well. She still had a chance. I tried using shimmied it, what was left of the tube, because you can imagine there wasn't much left. Tried putting it on top of a 1 liter bottle. Just trying to redneck make this tube fucking work. And once it happened, I'm pretty sure it one of the shells shot off 20, 30 feet in the air when it was supposed to go up to 100 and then exploded. I'm like, all right, I know what happens if I keep, that's red flag number 2. I'm going to stop. And I haven't touched fireworks since. I can't. I shouldn't. I do not trust my genetics to not know when danger is happening, because clearly I have no sense of danger when it comes to fucking gunpowder related objects.
Yeah, I shot Roman candles in my wife's general direction when we were dating around her father.
What the fuck?
In her jet, she was 600 feet away, and I was like, "Run, Sarah! You gotta go back to the house, go to the bathroom, ha ha ha!" And these things shoot like 50 feet, and she was like 200 or 300 feet away, but it was in her direction, so her dad was like, and I was just like, "Oh yeah," and I turned it the other direction. It's fine. We have a great relationship now, but you make weird decisions when you have fireworks. It's fun, but enough
yes,
about
you
that. Enough about that. Who would like to do game releases today?
Crickets.
You're what?
I have them all pulled up here.
Wonderful.
I'll do the stay in gaming if you want.
Cool.
All right. First on the list, we have quite a few here. Starting with July 7th, Catherine Full Body. This is a visual novel that released on the PS4 and a console I'd never heard of, the PS Vita, back in Feb 2019. And it's finally come to the Switch now, July 7th, 2020.
I feel like Full Body is probably like, the definitive edition, pretty much.
It is a remake enhanced port of the 2011 game.
I was going to say, PlayStation 2 or PS3?
Yeah, the original Catherine was in 2011.
Audience, stay in audience, bitch. Sorry, I had somebody jumping from the chat trying to give first thoughts.
Then next we have NASCAR Heat 5, July 7th, PS4, Xbox One, PC. The only racing franchise or sports franchise that definitely needs your support right now because they actually care about people. Nobody else does. Next we have Superliminal.
There you go. Prestidigitation.
Superliminal is a puzzle game that came out in 2019 for the Windows, and now it's getting ported over to PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. The last 3 games, including Superliminal, coming out July 7th. Starting July 9th, we have a game called Crosscode, which is an action ARPG, action role-playing game developed by Radical Fish. It came out in 2018 for Linux, Mac, and Windows, and now we're getting the PS4, Switch, and Xbox One release.
Very cool.
Next, we've got Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, which is a follow-up sequel to Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is basically a Metroidvania style game, very retro-looking side-scroller hack and slash that came out in 2018. Curse of the Moon 2 was announced last month and actually just is going to drop on the 10th of July, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So if you're into retro-style Metroidvanias, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 is coming out.
Nice.
Next, we have Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, July 10th, Nintendo Switch. This is a follow-up to a horror survival game, also called Deadly Premonition, on the Nintendo Switch. And I really couldn't find too much about it. Hang on here. In the year 2005, FBI agent York visits Le Havre, a small town in New Orleans, where he encounters a mysterious serial murder case alongside his friend Zach. Cool. That's the blurb.
It's weird because Deadly Premonition was really mixed results when it came out. Because the US fucking hated it for some reason, but Europe and Asia was like, yeah, it's a pretty good game. And it's almost bizarre because very few times have there been something like that where it's like Japanese-oriented games, often don't, back in the day anyways, never reached the US because they were afraid it wouldn't reach American audiences. And so you think a horror game that would reach the American audience would be like, yeah, it's okay, it's good, we'll welcome it up. But a lot of American media hated that game so much. Well, it was just loved everywhere. To put it in perspective, for IGN, over in the UK, they gave it a 7.5 out of 10. US, they gave it a 2.0. It was that, atrociously diverse in opinions. And so the idea that Deadly Premonition is coming out, the second one, is just holy shit, okay, that's interesting. Sorry, just wanted to give a quip.
And then following on again on the 10th of July, F1 2020, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Google Stadia. Another yearly racing game release. And then last on the list is Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris, July 10th, PS4, Xbox One, PC. This is apparently anime to video game style kind of game, which we saw with Dragon Ball Kakarot. So if you're a fan of Sword Art Online and you like JRPGs, this is your game.
Nice. Nice.
Very cool. Then next we have, after our wonderful releases, we have This Day in Gaming, which will be July 6th. Take it away, Tyler.
Hell yeah. So there was a special event that happened in 2017 today. So July 4th, 2017 for the Nintendo Switch. It was the premiere, the test run to introduce people to Splatoon 2. It came out as of 3 years before Splatoon 2 came out, I think a month later. But much like ARMS, Splatoon 2 was one of those, we're going to give you a weekend to enjoy yourselves. Here's this game for free. Here's, a very limited test run that was going to happen. Beyond that, I couldn't find anything that was, sticking out, too crazy besides, Final Fantasy VII came out for the fucking phone, Android, to the world in 2016.
There was an Origins, expansion that came out, Liliana's Song, but that's I don't know. It's an expansion for, I don't know. You're right. Yeah, I looked through that list, man. It was barren.
I mean, there's a couple of, it's weird because there's a lot of names where oh shit. But then it's it's just DLC for some shit. And
or a port to Wii. I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 got a Genesis port to Wii, cool.
I'll give a shout out to Crackdown 2 for the Xbox 360. That would probably be a big one for groups that aren't us. Essentially, it's have any of you played a Crackdown game? Then that solves that little mystery right there, doesn't it? Yes.
And that's all of game releases, huh?
I'm scrolling down as fast as I can, but honestly, yes.
Yeah, no, I looked through it too while Nick was doing releases, and I was just man, crap. I mean, there's some, but like you said, most of them are ports or games that we don't play. So, or app releases of classic games.
Oh, I thought you were about to say ass. I'm like, damn, Glenn.
No. I think there was a Mass Effect.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ass out here.
Came out. Oh no, yes. Anyway, cool. Do we have any final thoughts for everyone before we end the show here?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Don't blow off your fucking fingers like an idiot. And if you do, at least post it on Twitter so you can serve as an example or something.
What is it? The demotivator calendar? It says it could be the purpose of your life is to serve as a warning for others, and it just shows the Titanic.
That's fucked. I like it.
Yeah. My dad loved those demotivator calendars. He's very sarcastic and dry. So, wonderful. Nick, do you have anything that you'd like to say before we closing
really.
Thoughts on the day?
I mean, be nice to each other. Really, don't be assholes.
Yeah, especially with I do think I remember a big member of the World of Warcraft community who struggled with depression left this world pretty recently. It's especially with everything going on and people being more. Somebody said something that was very interesting, and they said, I think because of COVID and isolation and being stuck inside, we are forced to deal with ourselves a lot more than we used to. So a lot of people's demons are coming out and they're having to deal with them. And a lot of people, it's positive in personal growth realms. And in other ways, it's very, very hard. Not always good for some people, but in more ways than not, personal growth is hard. So being kind and being there for those around you is very important right now. So I think that's really, really insightful and important, just to be there for people. Even if it just means, sending them a text and saying that you appreciate them, stuff like that, little things.
That being said, please do check in on your friends because suicide tends to happen in clusters. So,
yes.
Yeah, I mean...
Especially because it seems as though this specific person was very, very influential and actually helped a lot of people through a lot of hard times. And so when somebody who has been there for people decides that they need to end their journey, a lot of times it makes those people that were helped by that person question their own place. So
Yeah.
Just be kind.
I-
Be kind. It's important right now for more reasons than one.
I didn't even know him. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't
No,
know
there
him.
was. He was a big WoW streamer. They did a huge memorial in a cathedral there, Horde and Alliance alike, for him. It was a pretty wonderful show of how much he meant to even just that community, because he's done a lot of streaming for a long time. So
I cried.
Mhm.
Like, it was bizarre because when I heard the news, just random checked it while I was on lunch, and I'm still 3 hours from home. I see that news. Not just that news. I saw the fact that a shithead decided to be the person to push him to what he, you make your own
really?
decisions, but yes, it was
I
a
wasn't
fucking
aware of that.
person who was in the comments and gave that final push. I went to bed thinking what that person must have wreckful. I'm going to say his name, because he deserves to give some fucking recognition.
yeah,
What had
Good
to
guy.
have gone to his head every fucking single day, and just to watch your fucking day get pushed down by somebody else every single fucking time because they don't understand that their words mean something to you.
Yeah.
And just watching that, and then somebody being a fucking dickhead to him, and then a couple hours later he takes his own life.
hmm
Just, yes.
well, it's the importance of trying to counteract troll culture, in my opinion, because that person may not have been doing anything out of the norm. They may not have meant it in any personal way, but it doesn't matter because you don't control how people take your words. You say things and you are putting it out there. And if somebody's struggling with something and you're ripping on them or trying to push them because you think it's funny, and they actually struggle with suicidal depression, that is so unbelievably cold and heartless, even if you don't see it that way.
I'm guessing it was for legal reasons or whatnot that Twitter left the statements up just to make sure, because if somebody in the US telling somebody to essentially kill themselves that's inciting suicide, that's illegal in the US.
There was a girl that did that to her boyfriend in the US, and she got charged with manslaughter.
And so, because of
or
that, I'm
secondary
assuming
murder.
that's why it was left up. Glenn, I was going to leave this topic alone because this has incited a lot of emotional anger, sadness, and sorrow that's made me fucking shaky.
Well, it's important to recognize that. I don't think you should have to set that aside.
Well-
We do that. We are, as much as we are on the small end of it compared to Reckless, Reckless, right?
Wreckful.
Wreckful. There we go. Reckless is a player for
Name is
the League of
Byron.
Legends team. Byron, yeah. He has been much more prominent than we are, but we still stream. We still put our hearts and our personalities out there to be judged, and we may not be as harshly judged as some people are because we're not so big, but I think it's important to see these sort of things and recognize how words could impact you over a long period of time, even if because I looked through his Twitter afterwards because I was like, was this guy showing any signs of these sort of feelings? And all of the people
his picture
that knew him
looks
said
so
he
fucking
struggled
happy
and-
with his mom or his grandmother. Just it looks so fucking serene.
Well, it's like when you see Chester from Linkin Park the day before he took his own life, he looked happy. He was at a birthday party. He was fine, quote unquote fine.
People, I think the big thing is they say that when you're at that level of sorrow, your only thing that you try to do at that point is to try to make other people happy.
Mhm.
That was a
Robin
big
Williams.
track. Yeah, Robin Williams is a big example of that, where their happiness no longer matters, so they do what they can to make other people happy, just to leave a lasting impression. But yeah, when I discovered this, that some guy posted a comment and caused this guy to end his life, and not only that, before Twitter took him down, somebody pointed out, it's like, hey, are you fucking happy with what you did? The guy that said it initially said, yeah, I don't care. What level of mental health do you have to be in to not care that troll culture, being a fucking edgelord like that, is acceptable?
It's not. And I think that's why it's important that we, with our limited amount of influence, try to spread love, acceptance, kindness, and mindfulness about what we say and what we do, because it's permeating when you see fans of specific people that think it's okay, to do those things, that if they've fostered a culture around their persona, and I won't name any specific streamers, but there are some who fostered a culture of saying things like that and it being okay, not just okay, but accepted and encouraged. And then they go and do that thing in other channels and crap like this happens, and people are surprised that they don't care. It's because they've been conditioned to believe that it's fine.
It's like fucking 12-year-olds who play so much Fortnite or watch Fortnite streams and go poggers at the dinner table. Like, they create this own vortex of like this ecosystem where people start to, as you say, condition themselves that when they shoot out of that fucking vortex and get to a different place where it's totally against the norm, what you're saying is in fact wrong, they don't understand why that's weird. And it's so bizarre that like you could go in 1,000 different directions with like maybe this person is in such a poor mental health that, you know, they obviously need to seek therapy if they're going to go and encourage somebody. Like fucking I was talking about this with Nick about the person that plays Abby in The Last of Us 2.
Oh, yeah, Laura Bailey. Yeah, she's been absolutely destroyed on social media. Yeah.
Because people hate her character.
Yeah.
Not because of her. She hasn't kicked a dog or anything.
But I've seen posts where they've said they want to come to her house and kill her real life child. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a video game.
They don't understand that she voice acts a character who they don't like. They're like, I'm gonna kill you if you kill Ellie. It's like, she didn't kill Ellie. There's no, sorry, for the record, I want to say for the record, that wasn't a spoiler. No one kills Ellie as far as I'm aware. Ellie, does more killing than anybody here.
Me and Tyler have been very vocal. I want to give you a chance to say something if you want, because...
I mean, at the very least, the only thing I can expect from people is to mind their own fucking business. Like, even right now, what's happening is people are dogpiling on Alinity. Like,
oh yeah,
because Alinity recently came up in some drama, in a drama scuffle with
Ninja?
A bunch of other streamers. Yeah, so because of that, she also put out a video, like she was saying on stream, she, like, whether or not you want to believe it is one thing, but she's, you know, she's worked with law enforcement when it came down to like her animal abuse, accusations, and we'd have to say that legally, accusations. She was openly working with law enforcement with the investigations. She did this, she explained her side, she apologized, and she's trying to be better. At least this is what she's trying to do. And like, I think people should just mind their own fucking business moving past that, because now it's getting difficult for her to even do like what she does. And like, it's like we're well past the point of having thick skin. Like, there's a difference between people being trolls and people telling you to take your own life.
Right.
There's a big difference between constantly hearing people's like, your content is trash versus you should kill yourself on a regular basis. Those are two different sentiments and messages that are sent. If somebody's telling you your content is trash, like, sure, that'll fucking suck, but they're like, alright, cool, you don't like my content. But if enough people tell you, where it's a significant amount of people tell you to kill yourself, like, it just makes you feel like you're alone and nobody actually likes you. Right? Because when people say your content is trash, it's disassociating your content from the person you are. Meaning that you're fine, but your content is shit that you're making and producing, so it's not you. So there's a big difference, and it's very important, the semantics that people use. And like, I just want people to leave other people alone. It's not that difficult to just mind your own business. It takes zero energy to see something that you don't like and not say anything about it.
Stop being a piece of shit. Merry Christmas. Like, that's all I got to say at this point.
Yep. So baseline.
I wish I could expand that into 1,000 fucking words at this point. Like, you could say that in 13 different ways to each and every situation that's been going on. It just boils down to stop being a piece of fucking shit.
With Alinity specifically, it's like, we don't want to support her because of the things she's done. She shouldn't be on the platform. That's fine. Appeal to those people who make those decisions. Leave her alone, because she's trying to explain her side. She's just trying to live.
She's trying to make recompense. She's trying to do the right thing and fix her, whether or not it's for her own personal reasons because she needs to keep making money and stay on the platform. It doesn't matter. She's trying to reform herself. She's trying to reform herself, and that's all that should matter. Honestly, we're not pissed when that happened, but
yeah, we're not giving people a chance anymore to like prove themselves. You know,
or change.
If somebody makes a mistake and they're like, okay, I fucked up, I'm gonna come back and try again. For the most part, we're not giving them the chance to. Like, I had this discussion with Tyler yesterday to some extent when it came to Lono saying no to Rage and all the stupid, horrible shit he's done to friends in the Destiny community. Like, they said all of this specifically because they felt uncomfortable having him in the community. They never wanted him to, like, not do what he's doing. They just want him to leave that space. They're like, you're not welcome here anymore. Right? They're like, just leave us alone, and he wouldn't even do that. So it's just kind of like, you don't deserve a chance now, because you've been given a chance to do whatever you want to do elsewhere. So yeah, I mean, just mind your own fucking business. Like, really, it's not that hard to just, I'm not talking about turning a blind eye to social injustices. I'm talking about somebody saying, I like this game, even though you hate that game. Mind your own business. It doesn't matter. They're enjoying something that you don't enjoy. That's fine. Doesn't make it.
It's that old adage: if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Just shut the fuck up, move on, get a froyo, or so. I don't know what you do in your free time. If you see some, I don't even know.
The fuck is a froyo?
Just
that frozen yogurt.
Yeah. Just okay. Mind your own business. And the problem is also,
I'm glad I understood that.
There's no, as somebody pointed out in chat, Crusading Cheese, friends of mine. There's no accountability for people saying all this stupid shit on the internet. They're so disconnected from the actual impact that their actions might have.
Oh, yeah, keyboard warriors.
And keyboard warriors and the anonymity.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if they had to walk up to that person, they would never say half the vile crap that they say. Because there's, like you said, there's a wall. There's anonymity. I can just delete my username if I'm uncomfortable enough, and no one will ever hear from me again. You know, like...
It's a double-edged sword for that kind of concept, like the... anonymity, or whatever you want to call it. It allows people who have social anxiety to speak up for themselves. The problem with that, though, is double-edged sword. One is, razor thin for those people, and the other side, where toxicity can bloom, is fucking like triple Buster Blade levels, where it's so fucking heavy. So it's like, can you even argue with that at that point? Because the cost of what that fucking chance for that troll to say whatever they want, and now they're gone. They're gone. It's like, well, at least you could speak your mind.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yeah. So, all in all, everyone that's listening, please be kind to those around you. Mind your own business. If you're not going to say something that lifts somebody up, then just shut up. On that vein, give people a chance to change. Because nobody's past changing.
Lead with compassion.
Lead with compassion. Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Counter troll culture, boys and girls. Let's just get rid of it.
CTC?
I don't mind trolling with my friends, but I'm gonna CTC, yeah, counter troll culture. But with that being said, also don't be a dick. Wear a mask, so that Europe will open its borders back up to the United States.
That shouldn't happen.
Wash your hands, you fucking fuck.
Yeah, there you go. Lead with compassion, Tyler. Wash your hands, you beautiful human being.
Whoa. I said fucking fucks. Wash your hands or blow it off because you don't know how to use gunpowder in your fireworks.
But yes, so kindness, compassion, wash your hands, wear a mask. So where can we find you on Twitter, Tyler?
You'll find me
on the internet.
With some
Twitter
of the things I want to say. But if you want to, DM me directly saying, Tyler, why are you so angry right now? You can find me on Twitter at 2xTyler. Fuck you, I love you. Go to McDonald's. Enjoy your Christmas. Don't be a shithead. Where can we find you, Nick?
You can find me on Twitter at LR11th, all letters. And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitch at LR11.
Can't wait till the day you get that other one. You can find me on, whenever you're able to get LR11 on everything, I'll be so happy for you because that's just beautiful. Marketing. Waiting, yeah, same. I'm waiting for somebody to get their account deleted because it's been inactive for 4 years. Has to be inactive for 5. You can find me on Twitch at Glenn Houston, Glenn with 2 N's. Houston looks like Huston. And on Twitch at Razeth, Raezeth, for lots of game shenanigans. And you can find us as a network, on Twitter at CMQ Network. You can email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com if you'd like to ask questions. If you have any concerns, if I don't know. Anything that you can think of, you can just send us an email. Are you having a great day and you want to show us a picture of a puppy? Great. Wonderful. You can also find us on Facebook at Casual Master Quest. And if you're really interested, there should be a link on our Twitter page for our Discord, where we, talk about everything from Animal Crossing turnip prices to, things we can do to help stop social injustice. It's a very wide a wide range of things that we're going to talk about on there, but also, you get a chance to play some games with us. We have some voice chats and play games. We also have a Dungeons and Dragons podcast where we cleverly swap 2 words in our name and is Casual Quest Masters instead of Casual Master Quest, featuring Tyler, Tyler, Nick, and Brandon in a new season which just started yesterday. Tyler as oh my gosh, do you guys want to tell them who your characters are real quick? Just like name, race, class, real quick.
Sure. Barnabas Von Swallow, a fucking moron.
A human fighter.
So me in real life, except a little bit taller.
A little bit taller. And then Nick, who are you playing?
Thorad Wildtongue Val Nugoni, a Goliath Druid Ranger. Not at all related to Vol Stormstriker Val Nugoni.
Nick, I got to the point in the podcast, and lastly, Brandon Thresher, who can't speak, as playing
who plays
as Olive,
a mountain gnome artificer.
Nick, I want to say when I was editing, I didn't get the chance to hear this. Maybe it was just in the shuffle, but hearing in the action where I heard you started muttering to yourself, I had to raise the volume, and when I heard it, you're like, oh god, I'm dealing with one of these people. Oh fucking lord, no. And like you started saying that as you realized that, like, I think Barney was holding the halberd saying, my lord, you must be the chosen one. And you're like, oh. The way you delivered that line was probably the most actory thing I've heard you say. And just the way you're like, this is pure regret. I don't want to be here. It almost felt like you really didn't want to be there. I'm just kidding. Please don't say that you...
But as you can tell, the passion on the team is very high for this.
Like, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. So we also have all of the episodes from season 1 available anywhere you can find podcasts, on the same place that you would find these podcasts, just titled CQM instead of CMQ. So 36 episodes, I think, was season 1. And we did a nice little time jump. So if you want to jump in now, you won't be too far behind on exactly what's going on. It's a good place to start listening. So we'd love to join us. But I guess that'll be it for episode 106 of Casual Master Quest. Thank you all for joining us. Be kind, lead with care and love, wear a mask, and don't forget,
don't be a shitbag.
Stop the grind.
That too.
Stop the grind.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I love you. The intro to the podcast, titled Casual Master Quest, was paid for and produced by the wonderful talent Revelries Music. You can find more of their work at soundcloud.com/Revelries Music, or just click on the link in the show descriptions. The background music is the album Top 50 Best Classical Piano Music by Brilliant Classics. You can find out more about Creative Commons at www.creativecommons.org/license/by/4.0.